Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today I am going to be talking about the design process and the things that we bring together for our monthly collections and subscription packs. So I'm filming this today from my parents' house, which is why it's a slightly different setup. I don't have all my kit with me, and you might be able to hear some little birds tweeting in the background as well, rather than sirens, which you often hear when I'm in London. So I'm going to be talking about how we bring together the message, the colours and the artwork, the illustrations, the fonts, and also tell you about the highs and lows as well as of the design process. We have just released our New Day subscription, so I'm going to be talking about that a lot, and I'm going to be showing you some behind the scenes of creating that in this video as well. So let's dive in. The first thing, and this is the common thread that runs through everything else that I'm going to talk about, is the message, and that's the most important thing. So what do we want you to think, feel, know and do when you're using the stickers, and particularly when you're using stickers in your planners, or you're just generally experiencing the collection? Because you might have seen now that what we're trying to do is like bring the collection to life, like in our social media and in videos and that kind of thing. So even if you don't actually ever buy anything from us, hopefully you'll be able to experience that and experience the benefits of just, even seeing a quote that makes you feel uplifted, or watching a video or anything like that. So our philosophy is that if we can just improve make small improvements every single day, then those things will build up over time. It's kind of like the 1% rule. Like if you get 1% better every day, like it doesn't really feel like a lot, but over time that's a huge improvement. So we kind of go through in cycles and focus on different areas, whether it's creating a new vision or setting your goals, establishing new habits, working on your mindset. All of that, keep going through them, keep working on them, and keep improving them each day. So that is always a starting point. I have a list. I know exactly what messages we're going to be focusing on for the rest of the year. That is the kind of in-stone, kind of planned in piece of all of this. And everything I'm going to talk about, every little piece of the design, all feeds into whatever the overarching message is. So with the New Day pack, this is all about taking the opportunities that every new day brings to establish new habits and new routines. So we're going to be 6 months into year when we start using this, and there is so much doom and gloom around, and I kind of wanted this pack to be the absolute anti that. It is so colourful, it's so bright, and the messages are all about basically you can do this. Don't let anything stand in your way. Nothing changes if nothing changes, and really kind of almost firing that starting pistol for you guys and going, yes, let's go for it. Let's absolutely do all the things that we want to do. Let's achieve all of those big goals. The next thing to pick is colours and artwork. So if you don't know, I'm actually an abstract painter, and for each collection I create a piece of abstract art. So I usually, once I'm clear on what the message is, then it's time to pick the colours. And sometimes I have a very clear idea in my head of what I want to do. I try to make it seasonal, I try to make each one different. So you'll notice that the first 3 months of the year we've got a lot of spring colours. Now with the New Day collection we're moving very much into summer, but a lot of the time I'm really going into the colour psychology. So to give you an example, the Power collection, which was like a fresh start for the new year, we had that really bold sort of dark blues and purples, which are very powerful colours, mixed in with the pale yellows and the silvers, which are all about a fresh start. With the Queen collection, that was all about making you feel special, and I chose like the lilac and the rose gold and all of that to feed into the idea of like specialness. I wanted it to feel like a very, very special kit. So it really reinforced that message of how special you are. So with the New Day collection, it's all about colour and energy. So the feel of it, the feel that the colours give you, and the feel that the energy that gives really feeds into this message that I was talking about of, being like a fresh start, like you've got this, like it's time to go for it. So all of these things like really feed into each other. So there's a lot of like psychology behind picking out the colours. The colours are also the most challenging bit. It took me like literally 3 or 4 tries I think to get the New Day colours right. And of course the biggest challenge is always, as I'll talk about later, kind of getting what's in here down onto paper. The next part is what quotes and words we're going to use in the pack. So if you've been following for a while, we're all about inspirational quotes and affirmations. So that is a really important part of creating every single collection. So I'll usually start with doing just a bit of general research just to kind of help me get some inspiration. I'll use things like Pinterest, and I'll start to make some notes on my phone, basically just jotting down anything I think of throughout the day, like a lot of the time. And I often do this when I'm on the bus. to my part-time job. I've got a very long hours journey, so that is often the time I will be kind of just like mind mapping out and sort of brain dumping different quotes. And it really, like, I use a few different techniques to kind of come up with them. Sometimes it's just doing a bit of free writing or almost just writing a bit of poetry. I do sometimes do that in my journal, and it's actually a really nice way of coming up with like really nice like poetic ways of saying things. So yeah, I don't really like to just go and kind of copy and paste from whatever I find on the internet. I always like to either put my own spin on it or to change it a little bit. Once I've got my long list of quotes, I then like cut it down and basically just pick out like the top ones that I think are most powerful, that are the strongest, and those are the ones which become part of the collections, get turned into the stickers, and most of the other ones end up like being turned into Instagram posts. And then sometimes what I also do is, like, if I've posted something on Instagram that wasn't part of one of the collections and it's done really well and lots of people have liked it, it does actually then end up in a future subscription if it fits with the right message. So there's a little, it's quite cyclical really, so they always all get used. I really love all of the quotes in the New Day collection. We've done a lot of quotes in this collection just because I felt like it was needed, but also because the font we ended up using is stunning and just lends itself so well to create things which are really fun. So, which leads me on to the next part, which is the font. So each collection now has its own unique font. I like to buy them from other artists. I'm not a font designer myself, but I find again something which really fits with the message. There is so much that goes into typography, and I find it absolutely fascinating. The messages that you can send just by the font that you pick. So I'll often do the work on creating the quotes first and then pick a font, because if, for example, with the Queen collection, there were a lot of more longer ones, you want something which is maybe a little bit more simple. And with this one, I was going to use a lot shorter ones, so you could kind of go with something that's a bit more fancy, because you don't want to like write a big block of text in like a super fancy font, because like it's going to be a bit unreadable. I usually spend ages, like hours, going through finding the right font. I'll kind of get it down into like a little sub list, and then finally pick one. I've got so many favorited on various like design sites where you can buy licenses from. I absolutely love doing it, and it's really nice as well to actually buy one from an independent artist and support them as well. The illustrations that we use in our packs are probably the icing on the cake, if this was a cake. And really, a lot of them are tied into the message, and sometimes they do really clearly tie in, but other times they are literally just there to be pretty, which I also think is absolutely fine, but they often will fit in. So in the New Day collection, we've got these lovely like called bursting blossoms, which literally like explode on the page, and they're very like, they're, again, packed with energy. They're like kind of roughly drawn, kind of, I literally just, you know, kind of went as crazy as I could on with Procreate with the pen when I was making them, because I wanted them to feel a bit kind of crazy but full of energy, and kind of really bring across that message and that vibe across through them. We've also got people jumping up to the sky in that one and celebrating. So again, just illustrations which are like full of energy and really get like that feeling across. In other packs in the past, I've done things like in September we had the Imagination collection, and that I actually drew sparks, as in like sparks of imagination and ideas as part of that. Back in December we had the Celebration collection. It was all these like bursting stars everywhere. It's like, so it was all about celebrating your successes, which all fit in really nicely. In March we had the beautiful Daydream collection, and that was just like, they were really beautiful. I drew some like really beautiful flowers. They weren't really based on anything, they were just like really pretty flowers. But they were just really there too. They were there to bring that kind of sense of calm and dreaminess that was part of the whole Daydream collection, but they were also there just to be pretty. As part of bringing all of these different things together, there are quite often some highs and lows. There are a lot of lows. I usually throughout the month guarantee you'll have at least like one sort of mini meltdown where I think everything is rubbish, I think everyone's going to hate it, and I just want to start again or use a total new colour palette. So usually because I'm struggling with the colours, and The biggest challenge is because I have see what's in here, then I design on Procreate, then goes into Photoshop, then goes into Silhouette Design Studio, and then Epson gets its hands on it and prints it out. So through all of those design softwares, it looks different on every single thing that you look at, and then different again when it's actually printed. So you kind of got to try and work with all of those different things, and sometimes it's really hard when you know what you're working with on screen is going to look completely different, because you're a bit like, I'm trying to create something which looks good on screen, and I know in my head it's not going to look like this. So with the New Day, I think I tried like 4 times to get the colours right. The first piece of artwork I actually made for it, I thought was amazing. Like I was so pleased with it, and then I printed it out and it was awful. It looked absolutely terrible. And I remember printing out the test sheets and being like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know where to go from here because this all looks terrible. But slowly you work on it, you print more things, you try things in different ways, and you get there. And one of the things I think is really important as we go through, I'm constantly testing stuff out in planners and actually using them, because sometimes it can look really good on a sheet, you stick it down in the planner and it doesn't look good. And making sure that all the stickers like work together and you can create things which look good actually stuck down is a really important part of it. With the Queen collection in May, I remember printing out and doing a test sheet and being like, I'm not sure about these colours, I think they're way too pale. And then we stuck them down the planner and I was like showing my mum, I was like, doesn't this look amazing? She's like, I can't believe how dark that looks. Actually on the sheet it didn't look very dark at all. You stick it down, completely different, and then you add in, you put all your other pieces with it and you create something which looks completely different again. So you can never really create a collection just in like a really short space of time, because you've got to have that long time span to just be testing and trying different things and working out like what works well together. So that's kind of my design process, I guess, like in a nutshell. Those are the different things that we bring together each month. One thing that I want to do, and you've probably noticed, I mentioned earlier, is to keep expanding these collections every month, make them more immersive on all of our different channels, and be making videos and more content that really helps you implement a lot of the ideas and messages that we talk about in the collections, and also just keep expanding the amount of designs and the products. So at the moment we're looking at cards, we're looking at postcards. I did used to do prints and we might be looking at bringing those back as well. So yeah, there's lots of different ways I think we can bring it to life. So let me know if there are any particular products you would like to see us work on or like bring to life with our different designs. I'd love to know. Yeah, because we always have loads of ideas. So it's just a case of trying to find the time to actually do them all. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you like enjoyed this little behind the scenes video, and yeah, you found it interesting. I don't really show like because I used to do studio vlogs, and now because I've worked so far in advance of the collections, I've often not really got anything to show you. So yeah, it's really nice to actually be able to kind of talk you through some of the design stuff. So yeah, so thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon.